On this episode of Locked On Angels, look, we know it's tough to be a Halo fan right now, especially after this weekend where they got swept in 4 games by the Blue Jays. There are some things that we noticed. I don't want to call them good things, but there are some things that we noticed we'll talk about. And here's the good thing. In the third segment, we've got some good news for you, so stay for that. It's time to get Locked On with Mike and John, and this is Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. We are the #1 Angels podcast, and we are honored that you are here. You can find us anywhere you get your podcast, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SiriusXM by searching Locked On Angels. And if you'd like to give back to the Super Halo Bros for all the Super Halo content, here's some things that you can do. Leave us a rate and a review on Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe and become a Locked On Everydayer. And whether you're watching or listening, come over to YouTube, leave a comment. It's one of the best ways to get in touch with us and be a part of the conversation. And today's episode of Locked On Angels is brought to you by SupplyHouse.com. It's the reliable way to get parts fast. Shop for your next plumbing, HVAC, or electrical job and get fast shipping from coast to coast at SupplyHouse.com.
Happy Monday to you, and thanks for being here for this episode of Locked On Angels, where it's your team every day. You've got the Frisch Brothers here with you, a.k.a. the Super Halo Bros. My name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
It's our third season here at Locked On Angels, talking Angels baseball every Monday through Friday. You can always count on us to be there for you, talking about what happened, and we have to talk about what happened over this weekend against the Blue Jays. Unfortunately, just an embarrassment of riches, Mike, or
Yep.
rich embarrassment, I guess you could say. But before we get to that, I want to make sure everybody's aware that in our third segment, we have a huge announcement that we can't wait to share with you. And it's going to be something you can be part of too. So we'll talk about that in our third segment. Mike, let's talk about it. Game 1, game 2, just not a lot of stuff to be excited about on Thursday and Friday, right?
No, the only thing that happened on Thursday was Nico Taveras hit a 3-run home run in the 9th inning, and It made the game look respectable, right? It was his first home run, first RBIs in the big leagues, and I was glad to see it. He is kind of an all or nothing guy, and that's what he's been so far, is all or nothing. More nothing than all, right?
A whole lot of nothing, Mike. I'm glad you brought that up because I was excited to see him get his first hit, 3-run home run, RBIs, all that stuff. Great on him. He's not ready. He's not ready. And I understand that maybe this is the time to try him out.
Yeah.
But I just don't see that he's ready in the opportunity that he's been given. I think that he needs that Salt Lake confidence where you can play out of your mind, play your shoes off, right? When you're in Salt Lake and put up some really good numbers and feel really good about yourself before you get called up to the bigs. The Joe Adell effect, right? Like, I think that's what Nico needs. So, if they make a change there, whether they do or not, I guess it doesn't really matter at this point of the season. Like, maybe you roll with Nico, but he just looks overmatched, Mike. He just looks overmatched. He has a hard time making contact. He seems really late and behind on fastballs that are, quite frankly, in the zone. And so I noticed they were talking about where he was standing in the batter's box, really back toward the back of the batter's box. Sometimes he was in line with the plate. I think that stuff needs to be ironed out and maybe at a different level. What do you say?
Yeah, and you and I have talked a lot about, like, let the kids play, bring them up, let's see what they got. Well, this is why you bring them up, to see what they got. And if they don't got it, then you send them back down, right?
Yeah, well put.
And the reality is that some of those adjustments, like moving in the batter's box, can happen at the major league level, but there also is that confidence piece. And so him going back down to Salt Lake could give him the confidence because he might mash. He might be Keston Hiura down in the minor leagues, right? And that would be great for him. And then perhaps bringing him back up again. I just think that he does look a bit overmatched and doesn't look like he really has a game plan going out there. If he does, nerves and maybe I don't know what I'm doing, right? Like that's kind of what it feels like when he comes up to the plate. This game was really interesting though, John, because Brock Burke was the opener and he went an inning, gave up 3 hits and 3 runs. And then Baumann comes in and gives up 3 hits and 2 runs. All the runs were scored in the bottom of the 2nd inning for the Jays. And then Griffin Canning comes in and pitches absolutely fantastic.
How do you get around Griffin Canning struggling in the first few innings and giving up 5 runs across, the first, the second, maybe the third? You have 2 openers do it for you, Mike.
Yeah.
You have them give up the standard 5 earned runs to
Right.
Griffin Canning.
Right.
Except the rest of the way, Griffin Canning was phenomenal. So
He was great.
That didn't work, right?
Right. Yeah. 6 innings for him, 2 hits, no earned runs, 6 Ks, 74 pitches thrown. What an incredible response by Griffin Canning to come in and hold it down and pitch really well. The problem is they were down 5-0, right?
Yeah.
And it felt like a Griffin Canning start.
And the other problem is, and this is to say, we're not piling on Nico because the rest of the Angels lineup has not been hitting well either.
No.
So that's a trend through this whole weekend.
Right.
However, I will say Brock Burke as the opener was an interesting choice because out of the bullpen, Mike, Brock Burke's been phenomenal.
He has been.
So to start a game as an opener, I guess it's a different mindset. Maybe it's different in the mind of this guy who's usually coming out later in the game and used to that situation. It just didn't work. And so out of the pen, he's been great. And I know technically maybe he's out of the pen, he's doing his warm-up process.
Right.
But man, that was just disappointing to see.
Yeah. Speaking of disappointment, I think the worst game of the weekend was Friday.
Oh.
Because they were doing well, right? They were battling in this game. Specifically, I really appreciated how Jack Kohanowitz pitched in this game.
Yeah,
John, 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned, didn't walk anybody, 13 ground outs. His sinker was working. Get this. First 2 starts, 7 innings combined, 14 hits, 12 runs, 11 earned, 14-14 ERA, 1.75 whip. Gets sent down, brought back up, next 3 starts. 19 2/3 innings pitched combined, 20 hits, 7 earned runs, a 3.20 ERA, and a 1.22 whip, John. Now, do you give credit for this rebound to completely in Kohanowitz's hands, or is this a high five to the coaching staff and figuring some things out, or is he just a really good guy that needed a couple of more starts to figure things out?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, look, I've said this many times on the show. Every new Angels pitcher, whether they're new for the Angels or they went to another organization and they're new for that organization, like Kai Busch with the White Sox, they all come out doing the same thing, Mike.
Yeah.
They all come out throwing and throwing their pitches above the zone and walking a bunch of guys. They just have trouble locating when they get called up. And to me, that just screams nerves. And it's not just Kohanowitz. It's a lot of the guys that have been called up in recent years. It's other players who used to be Halos on other teams. It's just the fact of the matter is, I think these guys get real nervous when they get called up. So perhaps it was, I don't know, kind of grounding for Kohanowitz to get sent back down, kind of get some things together, come back up, know what he's good at, which is that power sinker and inducing ground balls and not trying to be a huge strikeout guy, and be able to locate. Zero walks, Mike? Zero walks. How often do we get to say 0 walks on this show? We hardly ever get to say 0 walks. So I'm going to say it one more time. 0 walks. And I love it. I love it so much. And I'm so grateful that he was able to locate much better.
I want to make one point. I know that often the narrative can be that there's nobody,
Michael.
No one in the minor leagues that's good, especially on the pitching side. These are moments where you have to pause as a fan and go, man, Kohanowitz, 3 starts in a row, he's pitched really well at the major league level after being sent down. He's responded, and he's got the stuff. That sinker, John, is really good, and he got a lot of ground ball outs. And so he may not be a number 1 or a number 2. He's probably going to be 3 at best, right? Maybe a 4. And so I mean, he's probably the only consistent starter we have in there right now that actually is proving himself. And so I want to emphasize that because we can often get lost in the no one's up and all these pitchers that they drafted, nobody's performing. Actually, they are. It's just when you see the fire and everything feels like it's on fire and everything feels like it's burning, it's hard to see the good that's in there. And I know that's frustrating right now for fans.
What a horrible metaphor.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not
I'm just kidding.
creative. It's late, early for some, right? So the reality is that he is a good example of the improvement that this coaching staff can make for pitchers. John, speaking of the coaching staff, I was frustrated with that 9th inning.
Okay.
Because Joyce comes in, and I know that he came in the 8th inning,
right,
to really get the big hitters out.
100%.
And then Contreras comes in the 9th inning. Here's the problem, though, is it was it could have been a 6-out save or maybe a 5-out save.
Yeah.
But they decided not to do that because and according to Wash, wanted to go to Contreras and not have Joyce do 2 innings because we wanted to be able to split it up. And Contreras, he said, has been pretty confident. Why not switch? Why not have Contreras do the 8th inning and 9th inning? Is it because he's not as confident against those guys with Contreras? And if so, then why are you bringing him in the 9th inning to try to finish this game? Because he fell apart, and that's why they lost.
Here's the thing. You've got Joyce going against the best hitters in the Blue Jays lineup, and then the 3 after that Contreras was supposed to face. One was hitting, this is off the top of my head, but I did tweet it out. One's hitting 230 something. The other is hitting 178, and they both get home runs off of Verancy Contreras, which is just unacceptable at that point. So to me, I would put the blame less on Wash in this moment. I totally understand and can hear the case for a 6-out save with Ben Joyce.
Sure.
Why the heck not? Because you're desperate for a win because you haven't won anything in forever, especially against the Blue Jays. So I'm with you. That would have been probably the most ideal option.
Yeah.
The problem is that Contreras just didn't do his job. And he went out there and didn't get one out and gave up 2 back-to-back solo home runs. That's not the guy who's come out in the 8th. And even sometimes the 9th, Mike, he's come out and finished up games and saved games. So to me, it's a Monday morning quarterback thing where it's like, well, Wash could have done this. Wash could have done that. I fully agree with you. Why not give Ben Joyce a 6-out save? And, this goes back to chasing wins, chasing development.
Yeah.
Is Verancy Contreras somebody that we can count on out of the bullpen in the future in those high leverage moments? Well, this weekend kind of proved that maybe he's not ready for that. I mean, he's had success in the past. So, it's frustrating as it was. I saw the final score and went, of course, and that's the thing is I understand the desire to chase wins. I'm somebody who wants to chase wins all the time. But I think this is a moment of you got to figure out what you got. And I think that's what happened here.
One more complaint. Can I have one more complaint?
Of course.
When you throw a ball, fastball, middle of the strike zone, and the batter fouls it off deep, and you got lucky. Why are you throwing that same pitch?
Don't do it again.
Why are you throwing that? Why aren't you not just throwing it in the dirt? Right. Why are you not throwing it above his head? Right? Contreras threw the same pitch, and that's what lost the game for them.
Not good, Mike. Not good. And that's on him, and hopefully he got a talking to after that one because you're exactly right. That's exactly what happened, and that's not being cerebral. That's not being competitive. That's just throwing whatever you think.
Underhand that ball. Bounce it all the way in.
Do an ephus pitch. I don't care. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. The Angels are playing the Tigers at 3:40 Pacific time on Tuesday. You can catch every pitch of the Angels hometown broadcast on SiriusXM or the SXM app. Just search Angels. Coming up on Locked On Angels, we've got some really good news for you to offset all this bad news from the weekend. And a special invite just for you, our Locked On Everydayers. And it's something you're not going to want to miss. We'll talk about all of that coming right up.
Locked On Angels is brought to you by supplyhouse.com. You can find thousands of parts from hundreds of brands in just a couple of clicks at supplyhouse.com. They give you access, 24/7 access to a huge selection of plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies. Plus, you get fast delivery from anywhere in the United States. And if you need help with an order, and who doesn't need help with plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies, they got industry-leading after-sales service technicians from friendly and knowledgeable support team. They're real people. You can talk to real people in real time. Don't talk to a computer. It's not AI. Fantastic. Love that. And here's great news for plumbers and technicians and contractors. Being a pro has its perk. Trade industry professionals can join the free Trade Master program for free shipping and serious discounts on every single order. You can order over 100,000 different items from 100,000 different pros, and you can trust the Trade Master program from supplyhouse.com to deliver results. You can apply for your membership today and get a competitive edge on every single order at supplyhouse.com/TM. Save time and money when you order online. You can order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service.
This is the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. And everydayers, we really appreciate you making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. And when you're ready for that second listen, you got to hop on over to Locked On MLB with our pal Sully. He's your pal too. He's your baseball boy. Let's go. And he's going to get you ready for the playoffs, the MVP races around the league, Cy Young races, talk about the top stories across the MLB, and get you ready for the World Series. It'll be here before you know it. Trust me, this time is just flying by. It's available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. And speaking of your team, the Angels are off today, but they're back at it tomorrow, 3:40 Pacific time against the Tigers. You can catch every pitch of the Angels hometown broadcast on SiriusXM with the SXM app. Just search Angels.
Outside of Sunday, every one of these games, you can't blame the starting pitching, right? I know that they had an opener and didn't do well in that 5-3 loss, but Griffin Canning pitched well. Jack Kahanowitz pitched well. John, on Saturday's game, Carson Fulmer had his best start of the year.
Yeah, he really did.
6 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs. A perfect guy to be a long reliever or to be a part-time starter if you need him to fill in. He's gone 4 innings in a lot of his starts. This one was his best start. Here's the problem. The Angels were being no-hit going into the 9th inning.
Right.
And then Taylor Ward came up and broke up the no-hitter with a leadoff home run in the 9th inning. But everything else was terrible, right?
Absolutely awful. You know, it was all Blue Jays that day, Mike. The approach at the plate was just abysmal.
Yeah.
And, you know, Bowden Francis, he had 12 0-2 counts in this game.
Right.
And the Angels just continued to let him do that. They just let him steamroll. And to be honest, the last time they faced him, he did something very similar. And for him to get this near no-hitter was just absurd. And this is what happens when you have guys like Drury running out there every day. This is what happens when Nolan Shawnoel needs a couple days off of his feet, off the turf. That's what Ron Washington, was saying about Shawnoel. He was hurt, his back kind of hurt. This is what happens when you have Nico Taveras, who struggles at making contact, just contact.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the issue with this game on Saturday. But you're right. 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs from Carson Fulmer. And it's so ridiculous that Carson Fulmer gets a quality start here and the Angels just can't do anything with it. God bless Taylor Ward. I know that we have dogged on him a lot for offense and defense and things like that over this season. But you know what? Thank you for breaking up that no-hitter and hitting a home run. The Angels continue to have the longest streak of not being no-hit. It goes all the way back to 1999. But here's my thing, Mike, and this was kind of a conversation that came up, and then it played in on Sunday. There was a quote from Taylor Ward to Jeff Fletcher of the OC Register saying essentially like, I didn't think Bowden Francis was doing anything impressive. I didn't think the sinker was that spectacular, but he seemed to be fooling all of our guys, and everybody said that the sinker was working really well. And Taylor Ward said, I didn't think he was doing anything that outstanding. And what's funny is if you go back and look, I know the results aren't there, but Taylor Ward did have some of the best ABs of the day across the entire lifeless offense that they had. And then he got that home run. Yeah. And on one hand, I don't think what he said was so offensive. On the other hand, pardon me if Taylor Ward is allowed to take a dig at the team that ran Alek Manoah out there, who obviously had no control over his pitches, who obviously was struggling up until that point of the season, and get blasted in the face with a fastball, ruin the rest of his 2023, give him all kinds of recovery and mental blocks and issues that we've seen him deal with over this season. Yeah. And remember, that's why, for as frustrated as we can be with his defense, the offense is like, well, they keep pitching him up and in. And so to me, I'm like, yeah, pardon me if the guy takes a little dig at the team where his face exploded last season in Toronto. So that's my rant on that.
Have you seen a Taylor Ward interview?
Right. I mean, I know what you're saying.
It's this. Yeah. So I just don't know. I don't know why we kept missing that, because he was throwing the pitch and we just kept swinging over it. And it doesn't seem like it's too dominant. I mean, that's literally what it is. Right. And so there was no threat. There was no bebopping and scatting. I mean, the guy was just being Taylor Ward.
The Blue Jays took it personally. When they were interviewing.
Of course they needed something to get fired up about. Right. And the truth is that if they're going to consider it as smack talk, like you have to evaluate this team and go, they're not smack talking. He's just being honest about like, I don't know why we were missing it. Basically, he was saying we suck. I don't know why we were missing
it. That's
the
point. It was like, it wasn't a dig at Francis. It was, I don't know why we couldn't do anything with it.
Right.
I don't know what's up with our team today. So
all Angel fans are like, Ward, we've been that's how the whole year has been. Right. That's how we felt the whole season, especially the last few weeks.
So that was a frustrating day, but I was so relieved to see that no hit not happen. But Sunday, Mike, was just, oh boy, Angels lost 8-2 here. Another sleepless, or I should say, were they asleep? I feel like they were asleep. They just looked tired.
Yeah.
It was just like, what are you guys doing up there? But again, no Shawnuel, no Rendon. Adele's batting cleanup. Moniak's at 5th. Cavadas is at first base, batting 8th. Stefanik is at 2nd, batting 9th. Tyler Anderson is starting this one, trying to redeem himself from giving up 7 runs to the Blue Jays last week. And I was interested in watching Tyler Anderson because there was a moment in the second where he started to recognize that, hey, this umpire is giving me the top of the zone. And so he was taking advantage of that for quite a while.
I don't like it when people say, I told you. Right. I don't like it. Right. Or we were right. Right. And so you and I, we've tried not to hold that posture on this podcast and just point out some things that maybe we've noticed, but not start with, we were right. Or I told you. But can I just start this next conversation about Tyler Anderson this way? We were right. And all the fans were, right? Yeah. Everybody knew
it wasn't just
he was going to regress. And yet we didn't trade him and we didn't get anything for him. And he is not fully back to the guy he was last season, but he has slid back into some of those habits. In fact, 64 pitches, John, through 3 innings.
Right.
I mean, he was back to what he was doing so many times last year. In fact, he just finished this game, 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 Ks, 4 walks. 1 was intentional, but that's 4 walks. That's where he struggles, man, when he's missing the zone. And then 2 earned runs. He did leave trailing just 2-1. And so with this bullpen, the way the bullpen has been performing, you felt confident that if the Angels could get a couple of runs, they're back in this game. But of course, the thing that we're confident in falls apart yesterday.
Yeah. No confidence in the offense, no confidence in the bullpen. Well, I should say we did have confidence until they actually showed up. And Hunter Strickland came in, gave up a walk, gets 2 flyouts. And then Addison Barger hitting at the bottom of the order with his 170, 180 batting average.
Always
it's a 2-run homer, 4-1 Jays.
Feels like the MLB The Show.
Yeah. Matt Moore comes in with 1 out, another intentional walk and to Vladdy Jr. They were intentionally walking him all day.
Yeah.
Serves up a 2-run home run to Alejandro Kirk. So now it's 6-1 Jays. Matt Moore leaves in the middle of a at-bat with the 2-2 count with some sort of injury. Mike, we get the debut of Ryan Zephyr-John. I was happy to hear that it's John and not Jan.
Yes.
Making his MLB debut. And you know what he does? He throws 98 above the zone, gets him to swing through it and get a strikeout. So he has his first ever at-bat as a pitcher was a 1-pitch strikeout because of the 2-2 count. So he struck out Will Wagner, who's, somebody who's haunted us through these Blue Jays series.
Yeah.
And so then that was fantastic as well. So 2 strikeouts in the inning to finish things up, which was great to see from Ryan Zephyr-John. Not much to speak of the rest of the way. Zephyr-John is still in the bottom of the 8th. He gives up a hit by pitch, 100-mile-an-hour strikeout, 2 walks, bases loaded. He gets a ground out, 1 run scores, but there's no double play attempt. I don't know what happened with Neto trying to make the play. Maybe he just thought the runner was too fast coming down the line. Gives up a bloop, dinky-doo bloop. But imagine, when I say dinky-doo, I'm sure an image comes to mind. This was a Vladimir Guerrero dinky-doo, where he hit it off the end of the bat, and any other hitter would have no business dunking this ball in where it fell, except for Vladdy Jr. because he's so strong. So that made it 8-2. He gets the strikeout on Alejandro Kirk. Unfortunately, the Angels get swept in the season series against the Blue Jays. And I believe it was let me check notes. The first time the Blue Jays have ever done that against the Angels. And it was this year, a season series sweep for the Blue Jays. I cannot wait to get to our good news in the next segment. So let's talk about that in just a minute.
Locked On Angels is brought to you by FanDuel. Look, we've talked a lot about FanDuel here on Locked On Angels. They're America's #1 sportsbook. Well, they have a little something different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5, and then in return, you get 3 weeks free of NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube and YouTube TV. And then you have an opportunity to maybe get a YouTube TV base plan so you can watch regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market games. I love that. We never get to watch our favorite football team because we're in SoCal and we're not Rams fans, nerds. We love the Niners. And so that's the best part about what FanDuel is doing right now. All you need is a Google account and some current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. So 3 weeks free of NFL Sunday Ticket when you bet $5. Super fantastic from FanDuel.com/lockedon. You can download it right now. It's America's #1 sportsbook.
Mike, do you remember that scene in Dumb and Dumber when they eat the spicy peppers and then they're squirting ketchup and mustard on their mouth and trying to get the hot taste out of their mouth? That's how I feel right now about this weekend series. I just need to, I need to get out of my tongue. It's just this weekend series was atrocious. So I'm really glad that you and I have some really big news to share with our everydayers that we're really excited about. Now, you guys know that Logan O'Hoppe has been one of our favorite players since he came over in the trade. He's someone we root for every day here on Locked On Angels. And we have no doubt that you guys root for him as well. And he's a big part of the team. He's a big part of the future of this team, somebody that you build around. But Logan is somebody that we root for off the field as well. And we're excited to share some really cool news. We're going to be part of this really awesome event put on by Logan and his teammates. It's called the Angels AllStar Bowl. We're really excited about it. The Angels AllStar Bowl. It's a fundraising event for a nonprofit called Corey's Promise. I'll tell you a little bit about that. It's a nonprofit organization that helps offset the financial burden that families face when their child is enduring a cancer diagnosis and getting treatment. They help offset those payments, those costs that come along with that, and come alongside these families with children who have pediatric cancer. And it's raising awareness for pediatric cancer as well. Corey's Promise is named after Corey Phelan. And if you don't know Corey Phelan, he was a left-handed pitcher in the Phillies organization who passed away in 2022. He was only 20 years old, and he got diagnosed with leukemia, and 6 months later, he sadly passed away. Logan O'Hoppe, who was a teammate of Corey during this time in the Phillies organization, he's been full bore behind Corey's Promise. And the cool thing is that this event, the Angels All-Star Bowl, is going to help Corey's Promise as well as Children's Hospital Orange County. And fans are going to have a really great opportunity to come out, hang out, bowl with Logan and some of the teammates for a really great cause. So we're excited and inviting you to join us at the Angels All-Star Bowl on Saturday, October 5th at Cow Bowl in Lakewood. Here's the best part, Mike. We're going to be there, right?
Yep, we're going to be there. We have teams. We're going to be playing. We're going to be bowling. I'm not great, so you'll get to make fun of me while we're there. But you can be there as well and be a part of this. Here's what they've shared with us, that we're going to at least play 3 games. And in one of those games, an Angel player is going to play with our team. And so I'm excited about that. They've even talked about doing some meet and greet moments beforehand, and we're working out the details for that. But you can be a part of this big day with us. Here's what you need to do. Visit the link in the description, or you can scan the QR code that's on the screen right now, and you can purchase tickets to this event. And when you purchase the tickets, use our promo code BROS. So BROS, Super Halo Bros, get it? Okay. So use the promo code BROS. You're going to get $50 off your ticket, and you can come and bowl with us. We get to hang out together, and we get to hang out with Angel players together. We can fangirl over Logan O'Hoppe and Zach Neto and all of those guys. So I would love for our everydayers to join us. It's on October 5th. It starts at 1 p.m., and we're going to be in Lakewood and at Cal Bowl. So we would love for you to be there. You can click the link in the description. You can also scan the QR code. Again, use our promo code BROS, get $50 off your ticket, and anybody and everybody's welcome to come. So we would love for you to be there. We're going to bowl together. Going to be a fantastic time. John and I, we're going to be competitive against each other. We're not going to be on the same team.
Right.
I'm not too confident in my bowling skills, but I do remember that you're supposed to remember Uncle Sam, John said that when you bowl, you shake the hands with the pin in front of you. That's how you do a good bowling form. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I'm going to do. And I would love for all of our everydayers to be there with us.
You know, I am so Jekyll and Hyde when it comes to bowling. Sometimes when I go bowling, it's like strike after strike after strike. And then sometimes I'm just really awful. So if you're interested to see which John shows up at the Angels All-Star Bowl, well, we would love for you to be there. Again, there's a link in the description. I'll put this QR code up on the screen if you're watching on TV or on YouTube or wherever. But again, the link is in the description for our audio listeners as well. The link is in the description. Use that promo code BROS, B-R-O-S, for $50 off your ticket. And really, we want this to be such a fun event, and it's for such a good cause as well. And what a great opportunity for all of us everydayers to get together and for us to meet you in person. I know Mike and I have ran into some of you at games and got to say hi and take pictures, but this is the place to be. And we're so grateful to Daniel and Dalton who are helping Logan put this event on. And so they asked us to ask you, our everydayers, to be part of this event. I think it's going to be a really awesome thing. Again, you can feel free to laugh at me while I bowl, or maybe I'll have one of those good days and I'll just be the best. I'll carry the team. How about that? That's what I'll aim for. And I'll also aim for the pins as well. So we're really excited about this. We hope you're excited about it too. Again, check it out. Link in the description. We'd love to have you be there.
I'm going to need you to be cool around the Angel players, okay? I don't need you to, like, freak out. I need you to be cool.
I'm the one in my career who's actually been around celebrities and people and things like that. I'm always chill, dude. I'm always
I just need you to be cool, all right? Don't embarrass me. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Now for your second listen, check out Locked On MLB. Our friend Soli going to get you through the rest of the baseball season, let you know what's happening across the majors. You can watch his show on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day.
Hey, be sure you give us a follow at Locked On Angels on Twitter and at Super Halo Bros on Twitter and Instagram. Of course, we'll be sharing the news and the info about the Angels All-Star Bowl today on our socials. And we would really love to have you come over to today's show, whether you're watching or listening. Find this episode on YouTube. Get in the comment section. It's the best way to interact with us. Mike, what do we have on deck for Tuesday's show?
It's Talk to Me Tuesday. It's going to be a great day. We've got all of the questions we were going to do for Fan Mail Friday, and then Perry Manassian did his extension. So we moved that to Tuesday, and now after this weekend, there's a whole lot more that we want to talk about. So get us your comments, your questions, all those things. Put it in the comments below, or you can direct message us on social media. Hey, Talk to Me Tuesday. Let's talk about this Halo team. Let's vent, or let's dream about the future together on Locked On Angels.
You said Perry Manassian got extensions? He's got like long flowing hair now, or did he get he went from like 5'9" to like 5'11"?
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
His is bigger than mine.
That's right. All right, friends. Yeah, we want to get all your questions, comments, and everything for Talk to Me Tuesday, our makeup show for the Fan Mail Friday that didn't take place last week because of the breaking news. Until then, my name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
Thanks for being here with us, everybody. Make sure you check out the Angels All-Star Bowl, the link in the description, and all the details. Sign up, get your tickets, and use our promo code BROS. That's BROS. And we'll see you back here on Tuesday.
Did you hear him? He blamed me. He said my name. Not if you count the gurgling sound.
Not if you count the gurgling sound.